If you like today's Clerks podcast, please hit that subscribe button and check out more of the amazing content here at Yesterday's Entertainment Tomorrow.
All right, so welcome everybody to another Yesterday's Entertainment Tomorrow podcast, live from a shared universe podcast studio in scenic Eatontown, New Jersey. I'm Ryan McClelland. This is New York Nick Guzman. Today we are talking the 1994 movie Clerks. It's never really been discussed before out there. So this is really like the first time we're really sitting down and talking about this little known film. And today we have some of the stars of this film here in the studio. The man who played Rick Darris, Ernie O'Donnell. And then live via Skype, we have the man who tried to save everyone from cancer just to have, Marilyn sort of not really do the fire extinguisher at him. Scott Schiaffo.
Hey, guys.
The woman who stole my heart the second I saw this film, and I said, that is my prototypical Jersey girl. I would... Oh my God, fell in love with her in an instant. The woman who was the best girlfriend in the world, playing Veronica, Marilyn Ghigliotti.
Well, thank you. Hi.
And the man whose life is like Groundhog's Day, who up until yesterday was literally not supposed to be here today, but thank God he came in at the last moment. The man who is known as Dante Hicks, the prototypical slacker from Clerks, Brian O'Halloran.
Zup, zup.
Thank you, everybody, for being on the podcast. I wanted to start off with the National Film Registry. On my birthday, a couple months ago, December 11th, 2019, Clerks was put into the Library of Congress for being culturally significant. Meaning that, with films that are like Casablanca and Gone with the Wind, if someone wanted to sit down and actually look at films that represented America, Clerks is one of those films. So I want to start off with talking about this and trying to get everyone's views on, how does it feel that if someone wanted to get the 90s, like Clerks is one of the films that you have to see?
Oh. Well, I mean,
We'll start at once.
I'll say Clerks had a cultural impact like no other in the 90s. I mean, it came out of the gate. Nobody expected it. Kevin had a vision. Nobody really believed in that vision, especially it being in black and white, and with the amount of vulgarity that was in the film. But the thing that was true was this is what, our generation was back then, or a part of our generation was back then. And he really, nailed it on the head. And I think it, everybody kind of gravitated towards it because there was a lot of people out there like that nobody really represented. And Kevin represented, I don't want to say the slacker, but, it's the, the workhorse in the convenience store or in the record shop or in the sub shop. Yeah, the everyday guy that was, getting beat down and having troubles and girlfriend problems. And I mean, Brian, he knows, he lived that life playing that character. I think he just represented the whole thing. I mean, obviously him, Rodriguez, Tarantino, all kind of came together in a certain time. I mean, I don't know if it's considered Generation X. Would it be, guys? I
think so.
Right?
Yeah, it was definitely Generation X.
Right.
It's a type of movie, I think, that if it came out a year earlier or a year later, probably would have been overlooked.
Right.
So, as you said, Rodriguez and Tarantino and Jarmusch and tons of people getting the distribution cycle to understand that you don't need multi-millions of dollars to make interesting stories for people that they want to go see and watch. So I think this type of film resonated with the masses because you either worked a really shitty kind of clerking, kind of retail kind of job, or you've been in a situation where you've been to a convenience store, gas station, or what have you, where you had a shitty service person talk to you. So I think that was the kind of thing that this voice of the Generation X at that time, which were all overeducated, underemployed, and it still goes on to this day where people are overeducated and underemployed, and this malaise that comes over you going like, yeah, Ma, I want to get out of your basement, but geez, I can't find a job because they wanted people with experience, yet you have a degree and you can't get experiences unless you work for free or whatever. And so I think that's why it spoke to people. The fact that it was black and white, obviously just a budgetary choice. We couldn't afford the lights. I literally have more lights in my house right now than what we had on set.
Give some to Schiaffo.
So yeah. Well, he did. I noticed he got some light in there. They must have opened up a window or something.
It's bouncing off his head.
But I think, getting back to it, it's just, it's that type of film that I think resonated with people. I mean, I've always heard when they've asked this question to Scott has a great answer to this question that I always respected. So, Scott?
You're going to have to remind him what that is.
Yeah, he didn't take his pill.
I think you dealt with it was probably the first generation of folks that were overeducated and underemployed. I mean, I have a master's degree and I still am in a basement.
You proud sumbitch.
True story.
I love you.
No, but that's you got it, Brian. That's exactly what it is. And I think what we're talking about too is Kevin directly spoke to that generation as opposed to these other filmmakers that were indie filmmakers. Were making movies that were, they weren't about that generation. They were, Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, Jarmusch had a ton of movies before that, but they didn't directly speak to the folks of the generation, sort of speak.
Marilyn?
Well, I feel too, because when you come into this business, it's like you kind of want to leave a legacy and leave a mark of yourself. And so, I feel that once it became a cult hit as well and a cult classic, we kind of did that, but now even more so with it becoming part of the Congress as well. So, it's a nice little legacy to leave on to those in your family, many generations to come.
I find it just so funny that here it is, it's in the Library of Congress, so when Cyberdyne Systems finally becomes real and shit hits the fan, John Connor and his survivors are in that bunker.
Watching
They'll
Clerks.
have a choice of Clerks as one of their choices of entertainment. That's pretty funny in that sense.
Or Purple Rain.
Ooh, hey.
Or Purple Rain. Yeah, tons of films that are just this incredible legacy that she just mentioned is it's kind of weird, for a movie that talks, dick and fart jokes and snowballing and Star Wars, kind of arguments. That was a slice of life film that literally to this day still happens. I can't tell you how many people come up to me at conventions like, hey man, I work at this mechanic shop and holy shit, I got a guy just like Jeff in my shop. You guys should make an auto mechanic movie. No, you should make that auto mechanic movie. We made our movie. So it's that type of thing that it touches people because they see it every day. I can't tell you how many times that people come to me like, oh my God, whenever I'm called into work and I say, I'm not even supposed to be here today. The people who get that reference, I enjoy. The people who don't get that reference, I go, what is wrong with them? I get that kind of thing said to me all the time. And it's cool. It's very...
Yeah, but you know what? I think about it, and all praise goes to the fan base. It really, you think about it, because to go this long and to have that much of an impact and to be, into the soul, where it's mind-boggling. It really is.
But also,
it's because it's so relatable.
And also, Kevin being such a prolific writer, and being able to keep relevant by putting out more and more, latching on to the two characters to continue the story, the Jay and Bob characters, to carry through a couple of the stories, but then to keep bringing back the Dante and Randall and keep bringing back other characters from the other films is just a testament to his longevity and his, keeping his finger on the zeitgeist of what's going on.
And finally,
also,
Marilyn.
Too, you
Marilyn's
watch movies, try to relate in a certain way, but you can't relate to all movies. This movie, Clerks, it's so relatable on so many different avenues that's why I feel it's also popular.
I understand, Kevin has fans around the world, but when I saw Clerks back in '94, and I'm sure everyone can appreciate this, I thought the movie was just so fucking Jersey. Like, people talk like this everywhere, but you're from Jersey. This is how you fucking talk. Every other fucking word's a fuck you, fuck this. I'm gonna go over fucking here. Hey, fuck Ming, how the fuck you doing? Like, it's just, like, it felt Jersey to me. And I worked one of those, I was in college working at Blockbuster. I was like, woo! And then we used to just throw on Clerks every night. And the only bad thing was people would come in and they'd start watching it. And they'd be like, what movie is this? It's Clerks. Can we rent it? I mean, I guess. It's right in the middle of fucking movie. But
I will say that it's like I never used to have every other word as fuck until I actually started acting and being in that film.
Fuck you. I've seen earlier stuff of yours. You cursed like a sailor.
And that's
you were Marilyn fucking Ghigliotti from what I remember.
Hey, I fucked up.
Now I do. It's like, oh my God, I really got to cut it back a little bit.
You know what, though? What's great about being part of the Viewers universe, being part of these films, is I can poke the bear with fans. Just recently, 2 weekends ago, I was in Detroit for Astronomicon with Jeff Anderson's very first convention ever. And there was this fan who came in with a beard, and it was, which, not surprising, it's a Comic-Con. But it's a con that the herbal supplement air freshener is prevalent, let's say. And so he's drinking this beer with a straw. And I'm like, look at you, high test, man. I guess you don't want the beer to go through your beard and let your Just for Men drip out of the bottom. And he was like, what? And then he was wearing this kind of Cosby kind of sweater. I'm like, relax, Dr. Huxtable, you'll be okay. And he was like, oh. Like, he got super offended. At the same time, he was like, this is the best thing ever. I'm being assaulted by Dante Hicks. And so it kind of gives us that license to be kind of crude, and then the fans just love it.
Until it doesn't.
It was funny because he went over to Jeff's table as he was leaving, and he goes, you're cool. He's an asshole, that guy. And Jeff and Meggie, our sub-agent who works for our agency, they came over towards him like, he really was upset at what you said to him and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I think he's putting you on. I'm like, no, he was really. So the end of the show, literally the end of the show, I'm doing an interview with another podcast on camera, and I see him in the corner. He's come back. Like, everybody's packing up. Like, the show floor is finally leaving, and I'm doing this interview, and all of a sudden I see him in the corner. I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm totally getting punched in the face tonight. And so I was like, all right, duck down, punch him in the balls, then run. That'll be my escape plan. And so he came over. He's like, hey, man, I just want to say, I'm like, hey, dude, you were the funniest fucking thing all weekend long. Thank you so much. Oh, my God, that was hilarious. I'm like, you're not angry? He goes, oh, no, dude, it was hilarious. I go, well, Jeff and our agent thought that you were really super angry. He goes, oh, I was just putting that on. I'm like, you're a better actor than me. And so it's that type of thing that, our fan base is that type.
Now I know what the title of this podcast. It's Clerks and Brian O'Halloran's really mean to people.
Oh, no, you're get in line, sir. There's like 37 other podcasts with that about.
There it is, the magic number.
I wanted to ask you all about your favorite character in Clerks, and you can't include yourself. Like, you're a character. What's the character that you most enjoy from the film?
I'll just be really quick. Randall. Like, he's a wise ass like I like to be. So, no offense, Marilyn. No offense, Scott. But
no.
I love.
He didn't say Ernie.
I'm sorry. You play Randall, right?
Ernie. I mean, I couldn't be Ernie. So why would I Ernie still is fit. That guy's got discipline.
It's all a facade,
Plus,
brother.
it helps he doesn't drink. So, see, my downfall is drinking.
That's no downfall, sir.
Well, I mean, good shape, like, you know. Like, look at Ethan Suplee. Holy shit balls. Has anybody seen
It's a miracle.
Ripped.
Yes,
I love it.
I'm afraid. I'm getting to meet him in Raleigh in a couple of months, and I'm afraid to run into him because I think he's going to snap me in two. God, I hope Brian Johnson doesn't write Vulgar 2 and have him involved, because I'm like, oh my God, it's the revenge.
Yeah, he looks nothing, absolutely nothing like himself. I mean, just face-wise and all that, he looks totally and completely different. There's no way that you'd recognize him walking on the street.
I'm trying to tell the New York Jets, like, dude, I have an offensive lineman right here. Here we go.
Yeah.
Rip, he's crazy. He's like rippling muscles to boot.
Right.
Crazy. Good for him.
Yeah.
As far as a favorite character, oh my gosh, I had never even thought about that. I mean, I can tell you my favorite line, and that's when Silent Bob actually talks. But
Because he's defending you.
Yeah.
yes, no, but that's not it. It was just such a. I mean, every time in a film when Silent Bob actually talks, it's just something so profound for the most part. So that's why I like it. But
Silent Bob by default.
and yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll go with that. Where
What about you, Scott?
Scott?
Well, I think like what Brian was saying, it's really hard not to, gravitate to Randall because he is hilarious. I would probably go with Randall as well.
I mean, it's easy to gravitate towards that character because that character's like, I don't fucking care about anything. It's like this is I'm going to say what I'm saying and has no care or no worry.
No filter.
I agree, no filter. Yeah, exactly.
You guys disgust me. Okay.
He was a hell.
No, it's not even that, brother. The best character in the whole movie is the fucking cat.
Oh.
All right? The cat.
Lennon's.
Lennon
That
Soom,
poor
yes.
cat. True story. Months later, was poisoned by somebody.
Oh no.
Oh,
Yes.
my
Sorry.
God. I know that.
That's pretty terrible.
Yeah, someone put antifreeze in cat food and poisoned it.
Wow, that's
Wait a minute. Was that not... I thought that wasn't Vinny's cat?
Well, Vinny was the one taking care of it at the store. It was still the store cat.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought
And
it
that's
was...
who told me the story, actually, was Vinny, who I just ran into 2 weeks ago up in the Detroit area, which was such a nice surprise.
Well, wait a minute. Was that cat indoor, outdoor in that area, or strictly indoors?
No, it was like the store, like the store's cat that Vinny took care of.
Right. But he would.
What the
Like,
fuck?
how
You
did
see what I started?
But they would keep them, like, there was a litter box, I think, in the video store, from what I remember him telling me. And that's they would kind of, yeah.
Okay, he would go back and forth.
So
Okay.
Yeah, they
Someone-
couldn't really have it in the store.
Right.
So someone's
Yeah.
like, let me get my newspaper, let me get my coffee, and let me poison the cat. That'd be $3.85. That gets fucked up.
Just some neighborhood owner of, maybe he was going after something in their garden, who knows, but
Well,
yeah, he found him
It was the
dead.
mice.
it's probably somebody who didn't get cast in Clerks and was like, motherfucker, the goddamn cat got a part and I didn't.
The cat was the best part. I'm gonna get him.
Ernie,
Yes, sir.
favorite character that's not yourself.
I just told you.
Yeah, he's the
I'm
cat.
dead serious. The cat.
So it's actually the cat.
Fuck yeah. Fuck these guys. The cat. I'm representing.
By the way,
I got that.
Ernie wins.
You didn't get that?
You got it.
he's not drinking. Drinking, and he's saying a fucking cat.
Man, that's method acting at its highest level.
Nick, having just watched the film yesterday,
Yeah, I rewatched it. I haven't watched it in a while. But now all I can do is get the cat out of my
go ahead and tell someone who that they're your favorite, or just embarrass everyone here.
I'm going to say the egg guy.
Yeah, guy.
The anal egg
All
guy.
right,
Walt, yeah.
He cracked me up with that egg.
Well, Walt had a 1 in 7 chance because he's on screen so much.
Right.
It just reminded me of the weird shit I would see when I worked. I worked in a video store, and I was telling him in the car it was an adult video store, and I would see a bunch of weird shit would happen all the time in the adult video store in Route 1.
Love it.
Did you also sell toys?
We did. One of the guys got fired for having sex with one of the toys. I won't say his name in case he watches this.
No, he didn't get fired for that. Tell him the rest of the story.
I hope we didn't put it back in a package.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucked up.
So it was like this 4-foot doll sitting in like the Nicki Minaj squat position. And he got fired, and then the boss came. He was like, "Yeah, he's not working here anymore." And he was like, "Look what this nasty bastard was doing." He pulls his laptop up, and he's showing me the extra security footage where I'm gonna call him Miguel because his name's not Mike, but it's that it was this extra footage in the back, and he took this doll out of the display, and he brings it back, and he's going to town at it, but in the he couldn't lock the door, so people kept coming in. And you just see him getting all mad, walking to the front to go service people, then going back to service the doll. And
So wait, he'd walk back and forth with half a boner, or come back? I mean, is that what we're talking about,
He
right?
tucked it away.
Fucked up, dude.
So then at the end, I guess when he finished, he cleans it up and goes and puts it back in the display case.
You're still getting it clean.
That is so
Hey, never
wrong,
gonna get
man.
clean.
I didn't know this thing came lubricated.
Oh,
I remember watching that. He came back to the store because we did normal store stuff, go smoke pot in the back instead of actually helping. And he'd come back, and I was like, "You ain't allowed to hear no more, man."
so the next guy who fucks it, the cum crust comes out.
It's the threesome they never wanted.
Oh man.
Ming, if you're still there,
I'm here,
what's your
yes.
favorite character?
My favorite.
Let's get Ming on cam. Ming, get on camera.
I'm behind the board, sir. I'm the
Okay,
wizard
well, you
behind the
can still
couch
hear
here.
ya.
Yes. I think I related to your character, my friend. I related to Dante's probably my favorite character. When I saw Clerks, I was actually working at working at the student union. It was a dead end video store / arcade, and I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do. I had no idea what my future was going to bring to me, I didn't really even care. So, like the whole kind of shit or get off the pot conversation rang very true to me in Clerks. And
No wonder we get along so well.
I think so, yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah,
I think so for sure. Here's to you, sir.
yeah. But there's some days I still relate to Dante, although not as much as I did in college. I had other people telling me what I should be doing. But it was all stuff I didn't want to do. So it, but that's, you're 17, 18, 19. You don't know what you want to do. You don't want to get and you don't get a real job. You don't want to start living. You don't want to be an adult. So I really related to Dante for sure.
You invented Reddit.
Now
More or
look at
less,
you.
yeah.
And now you took the advice of Dante and Randall, and you bought your own store.
yeah.
Technically, what you love, here you are with 2 locations of shared universe. Good for you.
Yeah, being your own boss, telling yourself when you can come in and when you can leave, it's kind of nice. Although, I mean, the whole saying is true though. You start your own business so you can not work a 40-hour job, so you can work 100 hours a week.
Exactly.
It's pretty. It
It's a
rings
lot of
true.
work, brother.
Rings true for sure.
A lot of work.
I think we lost some people. What's the blue?
Oh,
We'll get him back. Keep going.
See, Ming starts talking and shit gets fucked up.
I know.
So Clerks has been one of those films that's been well documented because, again, it was this real tiny film that blew up huge. And Ryan was saying about the kind of like the regurgitation, the Groundhog Day aspect of going to cons. And I was like, hey, kind of hearing the same stories over and over again. Is there anything that between the 4 of you that you remember that really hasn't been out there before? I know there's the documentary and there's, lots of stuff out there. Is there anything that you just have never told before? Even if it's just a tiny anecdote?
Oh gosh, I have no idea.
I've told the story that we stole the bagels from the store next door.
Yeah.
I told a story. I mean, people know. I mean, there's a lot that's already been told. I can't find anything that I'm like, there was a time I actually had to stab a homeless guy to get the House of Pain shirt. There's nothing.
Yeah, no.
I mean, there's always that. They're like, are you wearing a House of Pain shirt under the overshirt? And I'm like, yes, you have a good eye for just seeing like H and O and then the P and the A on the bottom and stuff. And so, otherwise, no, I mean, a lot of it was addressed. If anybody has seen the upcoming release of the new Shooting Clerks film, a lot of it was covered there. There is like about, 25% creative license of certain things. But for the most part, things were told, and I can't, and there's nothing like we've been sworn to secrecy to.
No, I mean, we've pretty much put everything out there. I mean,
26 years, shit gets out eventually.
Yeah. And
Right.
I just watched Shooting Clerks last night, and I was really, it's a very honest documentary. And again, a lot of stuff in that documentary kind of from the beginning all the way through.
Not a documentary. Wait a minute.
wait,
what
you
are
watched Shooting Clerks or you
Not Shooting
watched
Clerks.
Snowball Effect?
Snowball Effect.
The shitty one.
Yeah.
I have yet to see Shooting Clerks.
Shooting Clerks is a biopic.
Yeah.
Making
Yes.
it. While Snowball Effect there was a crew on set when we were making the last film, talking about how we made the first film.
Is anyone here in Shooting Clerks? I think, Scott, you're in it, correct?
We're pretty much all in it.
All four of us are in it. We're all associate producers of it, so we goddamn better be in it.
Yeah.
It's only been shooting for 37 years. I mean, I just remember this. I think they started shooting a while ago, and it's still like, I know they're playing festivals, but I can't.
Yeah,
really see it.
that's the Scottish timeline. The filmmakers are from Scotland, so they take a while.
No, you film one day and drink 6 and then repeat.
There you go.
Welcome to the world of...
You've been to Scotland.
I mean, but actually, Bri, they're pretty close to finalizing everything and getting it out there pretty soon, from what I'm being told.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had many discussions, and there was a bit of a wackiness going on about changing the whole name of the film.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And I flipped out, and I was like, "There's absolutely no reason to change the whole film. You're 4 years of promoting it this way. Why do you want to change it? It's some intern who tries to make a big impact in a new distribution company, wanting to make their name in it." And I was like, "No, don't change the name."
God, no. And it's such a great name. I mean, with the fact that.
I mean, I was a little bit more straight to the point and not holding back on language when he was telling me this, and I was just like, "What the f?" and blah blah blah, and I'm like, "Listen, put them on the phone with me, and we'll fucking straighten this shit out real fucking quick." Because someone doesn't know about the movie business if they think that for 4 years of screenings and advertising and fundraising, you're gonna change the goddamn name to it.
Well, the title also, has such that great irony of,
Right.
the original ending that was never, it's just great.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
There's so many different levels that, people who are just getting these jobs in their early 20s, no offense, but the movie's been around for 26 years, okay? So to come in and like, well, I think we should name it this. I'm like, you need to sit down and have a juice box, okay?
Goddamn millennials.
Because you don't know, you know what you're talking about.
Do you...
No offense.
They're offended. They already went to the comments
That
section.
corrects everything, right, Brian? You just tag that at the end. No offense.
Screw that guy who looks like Gil Hicks.
All you have to say on any type of broadcast is allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Yeah.
Was there ever...
I've moved on from the hook. Now I'm on the boat. Because now we're going to need a bigger one.
Told you we should have brought beers.
Come on, man.
What? It's Sunday. What am I going to do? There's no football.
I don't think
XFL.
Yeah.
Oh, please. You started with this XFL.
It's $40 a ticket, you know. It's like, what is it? Touch football?
Sure, absolutely. You know what else is free? Your neighbor's kid on softball. Yeah, let's do that.
I think I'd rather watch that than the XFL.
Although I do like the name of the New York team, the New York Guardians. I was like, all right, that's cool.
I like basketball. They were the New Jersey Informants. That's a hell of a great sports team name.
It played well in Camden, Trenton, and Newark.
Yeah. Was there ever a point where you kind of wanted to see past these roles and think to yourself, I don't want to be defined by Clerks, and I kind of want to move on and do different things? Does it really matter now, or do you kind of see in the embrace of being these characters in this timeless film? So it kind of goes hand in hand. How do you feel about it now? And was there ever a time where you just wanted to kind of escape or break out from Clerks and do something different?
Well, nobody ever wants to be typecast in the role that they're known for, because, you know, it's a very easy pit to fall into in the business. But I have spent the last 22, almost 23 years here in LA finding different types of work, characters to play, so that I can maybe showcase myself in different ways as well. And I feel like I've done that pretty well. I mean, but you know, I'm still trying to break into business.
Marilyn is in the best movie in the universe, Rogue Warrior, Robot Fighter. If you haven't seen it, see that movie. She's awesome in it. The movie's awesome. My only problem was you weren't in the movie enough.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. No, I really enjoyed that scene. Out of all of the projects that I've done with Neil, I would have to say that by far that was like one of my favorites. And I just loved what was involved in that, and working with Tracy as well. We just really have great chemistry on camera, and really just have a great relationship as far as like feeding off of each other.
I've been very fortunate enough to work in many other types of films and genres, and so is it a huge boost, foot in the door, knowing that they enjoy the character of Dante? Sure. Do I get called in for Dante-esque type of characters? Absolutely. There was a film I shot last year where they were like, "Oh, we want you to play this convenience store manager," and I immediately said, "No, I'm just sorry. I only play convenience store characters, you know."
Way to go.
After these few messages,
Ming broke it.
We'll be right back.
Are we still recording?
Yeah.
Let's have a commercial for the shared universe.
And Ernie, you've been making Kevin's writing sound good since, literally since you were kids.
Oh yeah, it's been since the fifth grade.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we're friends.
Yeah.
43 years, something like that. So yeah, we've been dabbling in comedy writing, sketch comedy, filming stuff for a long time. When we were kids, it was always something we wanted to do. Obviously, I knew from his creativity and his writing style that he was going to be something. He was just, there was no way to stop him. It really wasn't.
Did you actually film then? Like, there's a little shorts somewhere?
We did with a VHS when we were kids. We did a mock version of Indiana Jones, and Kevin played Belloc. I played Indiana, and we can, to this day, me and him still can't find the videotape of what we shot.
It's in some attic somewhere.
Is Bellicose in that as well?
I don't know if Belly. Belly was supposed to be in it, but we were kids, so we shot a couple days. Everything got difficult, and then we lost interest in it because the camera broke. Blah blah blah. Because we took the camera from one of our parents, and it broke, and then that was the end of that. So, but
it was as big as a car.
Yeah, exactly. It was, but there was a videotape of some sort, but we never recovered it. But after that, going into high school, when he wrote all the sketch comedy bits that we did with me, him, and Mike Bellicose with our comedy troupe called Skmods.
I like the Blues Brothers.
Yes, the Blues Brothers reference. Those videotapes do exist. I have a couple of them, and there's a couple that I still can't get my hands on. But and some of the plays we did in grammar school, and Kevin was in Sir Thomas More with me and Belly played Sir Thomas. So yeah, there's stuff out there, but we haven't released it. I mean, there's even early comic strips that Kevin did that we have that nobody's ever seen.
Wow.
That me and Belly are debating whether we should put out there, because it shows you what direction Kevin's going.
Like late birthday present.
yeah. I mean, Kev has approached me years ago about it, and he goes, "Oh, you have those?" And I was like, "Well, I don't have them. Belly has them." And he goes, "Well, maybe we should do something with that." And I was like, "No, maybe Belly and I should do something with that."
You can have them for $1 million.
$1 million. Yeah. But yeah, and we did a lot of cool stuff. But then, he went off to film school and did his thing, and then he came back, and he had the script of Clerks.
Was a lot of it for like the talent shows, and like where did you primarily, was just like stuff in high school?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like I said, we started in grammar school doing a bunch of cool stuff, and then it just morphed into high school, where me and Kev actually, and people probably out there who are true fans know this, created the talent show in the high school, so we could actually have a platform to perform. So
that's genius.
Yeah,
I want to do something, so we should do this.
Yeah, so we both, me and him, both got on the what do they call it? The board of some sort, the union,
student union.
Student union, and we created the talent show. And he started writing sketch comedy, and pretty much similar to like SNL. And then we put it out there, and we got, for us as kids, it got really great reviews. We were in the paper. I mean, we got all these write-ups, and our comedy troupe, and Kevin's writing and things like that. So I think that was a big boost to his ego. It really was. I mean, Kev will tell you, him growing up, being a kid who was overweight and all that kind of stuff, you know how kids are back.
Oh, yeah.
It's horrible. But that's kind of stuff just overshadowed all that, Now we're dancing.
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Remember the movie?
Yeah.
So Ernie plays a cop in that movie in the beginning, and I love that scene because he has the pack of wraps for the weed, and he's like, "You don't smoke weed, huh? What are these for?" And he's like, "It's like I wipe my bunghole, so there's no stink nuggets."
Cover up my breath.
Right. Well, originally that scene when Kev sent me the script had we were kind of going to do an homage just to Animal House. So when I come up to Jay, I'm talking to him, and he's not saying anything, and then all of a sudden his cheeks are kind of full like a chipmunk, and he does the Belushi Animal House thing and hits it, and all the weed comes out of his mouth and gets all over me. So we tried it a couple times, but Kev bailed on it. It just didn't work. Visually it didn't work, and back then we didn't have
It probably didn't taste that good.
Yeah, well, I think we did use oregano. Huh?
What did he have in his mouth?
He had oregano.
Oh.
Yeah, it just visually it didn't work, and we didn't. I guess Kev didn't have the money to do it the right way, so we bailed on it. But no, I'm good, man.
Juicy fruit.
What happened, Ming? You didn't pay your internet bill?
No.
That's he's going to charge you more for that hat.
Are you stealing the internet from your neighbors?
No, this one we have legit internet. We have legit internet here. Thanks.
But in Asbury Park, we're stealing it from the Paramount Theater. Are we all back?
Yep.
Are we going?
Yep. Go for it.
So I wanted to. What's everyone's thoughts of? I guess Clerks as a franchise as a whole. There's been the movies, the television cartoon, the failed TV pilot that nobody was in.
Jim Brewer, come on.
Yeah, I mean,
love Jim Brewer. It's
on YouTube now, and I know everyone says it was horrible, but I actually had some enjoyment. I mean, from watching it, I enjoyed. I forget his first name, but his last name's Gomez, and he kind of played like a weird ice cream guy in it. But I enjoyed him. What you guys? Everyone tried out for that, right? I mean, you and Jeff tried out for the pilot and didn't get picked.
I was the first one to find out about it, and I called Kevin's office. Kevin had no idea about it, and then I talked to Jeff because at the time when they were casting for that, I was in LA meeting with different agencies to sign with an agent, and so this one agent who actually was Leonardo DiCaprio's agent, no less. He's like, "Well, you're obviously going in for the Clerks TV show, right?" I'm like, "What?" And he's like, yeah, Warner Brothers is doing they're casting for the pilot of a TV show based on Clerks. I'm like, this is the first I'm hearing it. It's oh, really? Oh, Susan, sign Brian up. We're going to put you in the auditions in a couple of days. And I'm like, oh, okay. I then called Kevin. I'm like, Kevin, are you involved in, they're making a TV show out of Clerks. He's like, what? And then he called his agent. His agent called, Don Rio was the producer. Don Rio had done tons of TV producing of really big hit shows. And so Kevin contacted Don Rio, signed on board. Now, the one thing that Kevin got of the original deal out of Miramax with Clerks was he owned the rights to the characters of Jay and Silent Bob. So no matter what, they couldn't do anything with the characters of Jay and Silent Bob, which I think they had some guy, the ice cream guy, I think his name was Ray, was supposed to play that kind of Jay-esque type of character. So I went in for the audition, and it was just such a milquetoast, like literally the dialogue, because it was weird. So then when I finally see what they finally cast and finally produced, Kevin got a copy of that, and I was at his office in Red Bank, and he said, oh, by the way, we all dodged a bullet. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is what they finally came out with. And I watched it in his office, the pilot, and I was like, wow. Because if you watch it, like the set is something like, Saved by the Bell kind of quality. It's kind of very, bright colors, brightly lit. Not a convenience store in New Jersey anywhere.
No.
And the dialogue was all milquetoast. Now, the girl who played Felicity, I forget her name, she's in The Americans. She played like the Veronica character in it. And then Jim Brewer played the Randall character. I forget who the actor was who played Dante. And then that ice cream guy was supposed to be the Jay-esque type of kind of stoner, kind of cool, funny kid.
So do you actually go out for it?
Yeah, I auditioned for it.
Yeah, I didn't know about it until I was told about it, whenever it was.
And to be honest with you, like, it was literally a milquetoast version. Like, literally, it's like if some sort of religious group got a hold of it and it's like, how do we make it, like, fun, but without insulting people? Like, Clerks is the type of show that should be on a HBO, Showtime, Netflix, where there's no worry about editing or, making sure the language is clean. And that's where they dropped the ball. And that's where then we tried to pick it up with the Clerks animated series. We could still be clean, but because it's an animated world, you could do anything you want. So you could be funny without having to be dirty as long as it's animated. And then that was a big fiasco because ABC didn't even know what we were about. And once again, they own the property, but they didn't know what to do with it. I know Kevin has talked about that there's been some reach out from a showrunner who's super successful at ABC, who was a fan of the cartoon back in 2000. So hopefully in like 2 years or so, depending on if we make a Clerks 3, we can do the animated series again, which I would love to do.
Does everyone have their own action figure for Clerks?
No.
No? Scott? You're fucking kidding me?
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for throwing me under the fucking bus.
There's there's like 36 Dante figures. There's like Dante as Superman.
There's two. I don't know what kind of math you do in Trenton, but there's two.
You try going.
Clerks that have any kind of figure in action or action is the four main guys. It's like Randall, Dante, Jay, and Silent Bob. That's it.
Right. That's the cartoon series, and then they did a Diamond Select did the four guys again for actual, articulating figures. I know that the guys at Graffiti who did the original cartoon series in action figures had a second round of Clerks 2 in action figures that never were produced, but I saw the test models for it, and I wish we had gone through with it, but that's the kind of weird thing. Like, now that the Jay and Silent Bob reboot has been incredibly successful, and obviously Kevin shows that he's a bankable property and the Views universe is bankable, and he'll work his ass off to get the money back for investors and then some. I'm hoping that with a Clerks 3, other entities jump on board to make things like, I'm still shocked and amazed that there's not at least a Dante and Randall Funko pop. Not like I'm clamoring for one, but because I know some artists and some actors that when they're showing their Funko, they're like, no, I don't sign those because they don't get a nickel out of it or whatever it is. But a lot of people, it's like, how come there's not a Dante and Randall? I'm like, hey man, not my job.
Just like I always get, it's like, how come they didn't make Veronica? Not Funko, but just in general, It's like, out of my control. But the funny thing is that the action figure that is made of Dante, that's, I don't know, about 5 or 6 feet tall, they have a little lasagna pan.
5 or 6 feet tall.
You mean inches?
It's the blow-up version.
I like that you made that mistake, girl.
Just make sure to wash Dante off and put him back before you sell him.
They have a little lasagna pan for you.
Oh.
I'm like, okay, it's the Veronica that gives him that lasagna, so why not make a Veronica action figure?
Money. That's what it comes down to, babe. That's it.
And the Rick Derrick's with a gallon of milk.
Exactly.
I would have bought the Chuli's Gum Guy, just as long as it was called Chuli's Gum Guy. Like, that would have been amazing. I would have totally bought that action figure.
With loose cigarettes to throw at
Dante's figure comes with the lasagna pan?
Yeah.
Wow, that is pretty wild.
I just want the lasagna pan now. I'm going to find the figure. Just to get the lasagna.
Can you sell this?
Marilyn does sell the actual recipe, so.
Yes, I have my own little recipe that I put on a card. Somebody had suggested it, and I'm like, all right. I've never actually had a recipe for my lasagna, so I was like, all right, let me go through it and let's see. All right, this is probably about that much, and this is about that much. So everybody who's bought it and tried it has said it tasted awesome. So I'm like, okay, good.
I want to buy it.
I feel like we have to.
Let me some lasagna. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you're in Trenton, so you got to come to I guess Raleigh to meet Marilyn on the East Coast.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm all about eating lasagna.
Yeah. So 25 years after, Clerks, obviously, Jay and Silent Bob reboot just came out. It was a lot of fun. Ernie, you said you were at Asbury Park. Scott was at Asbury Park. First time I got to meet him was walking in. It was like, hey, we're like, hey, and then we walked away. But how cool was that to kind of come back even for like a moment and have a cameo in that film, especially the way they set it up with like the black and white? How great was it being together on screen again?
Oh, it was amazing. I loved every second and moment of that very quick weekend. I mean, for me, it's like I flew in on the afternoon of a Friday, I think it was. Then we had dinner that night. The next day, we got ready to be on set, and we're on set like the rest of the night. I didn't want to leave set. I just didn't. Once we were even done with our scenes, and then I had just about enough time to get a 15-minute nap before I was taken to the airport the next morning to come back to LA.
That's really white of him. All right, you're done. Get out of here. But then you got told that you're going to be in Clerks 3.
Yes.
And I was the most excited guy in the universe that you're coming back.
I can almost bet that the entire LA Convention Center heard me yell my excitement once Kevin told me officially.
And then you'll be married to Rick Darris.
Oh.
And then what?
Married to Rick Darris.
Oh, wow.
I am going to tap that lasagna.
Thank you.
She does love long walks on the beach.
Hey.
Give me a peach anytime.
Ernie, what was your time in New Orleans with it?
Oh,
Well, you were there with John as well.
Yeah, I was there at Cousin Johnny. But if I'm to be honest, it's being with these guys to hang out again is awesome. But I don't get much time to spend with my old I hate to say my old friend, but to spend with Kevin and Brian. So I spent a lot of time behind a camera with him, just hanging out, watching, and those moments are more special to me than actually being on camera, because he's a busy guy, and those and the fact to have all of us around together is just good. I mean, it's good stuff. I mean, 25 years later, we're all still friends, and we hang out, and we're lucky enough to occasionally still do a movie together. And the fact that we're going to be in, I know I'm in Clerks 3, Marilyn is, Brian is, and I'm almost positive Schiaffo is. But
you made me tear up a little bit. Look at that shit. I'm not even joking.
It's it's pretty amazing. So we all root for each other. So it's good stuff.
Did we lose everybody?
Hello. Let me get them back again. Skype is real weird today.
Please do your podcast at a shared universe podcast studio.
To Ming's credit, he is multitasking his ass off over here.
Fuck yeah, dude.
With
Ming, thank you.
Tons of Skype connections and Wi-Fi connections and internet connections, and you should see the setup he's got going on over here.
Yeah,
so
I keep looking over there like, look at all the things
for one man, it is a lot of work. So
That's why when I was putting this together, I'm like, Ming, when are you free? And you're like, it's in this date.
Yeah.
It's not like Homer with the dipping bird.
No. But no, he does an excellent job.
Ming, are you in Clerks 3?
I have heard nothing. So I don't know. We had a lot of fun though, being in a reboot. So we'll see what happens. Yeah,
Ming's part in the reboot. Actually, he knows because I was there when he was filming it. Was longer than what you saw. And he actually did a great job.
Yeah, fuck that.
Oh,
Ming has one of the best scenes ever in a Kevin Smith movie.
Ever? Oh, yes, I do. That's true.
Ever. It's Selma Hayek.
Oh, the shit monster?
Yeah, well,
At
she's
the go-go bar?
When she's dancing, I'm just if you got to look at her for like a day or two, what an awful job.
Not a bad gig.
No, not
all things considered.
And you got paid for it?
Yeah, I did, which was crazy.
Yeah. You're in this movie. What did you do? I looked at Selma Hayek. And you got paid for
I had to
that,
act like I was. I liked her. Yes.
Yeah. Very difficult.
Tough job.
Yeah. Very difficult.
Oh, shucks.
You're a big jerk.
Yeah, those guys were great up there because they had the comic book men panel, and I was actually kind of looking forward when I saw the movie to Ming's little speech and stuff like that. I
was looking forward to seeing you guys.
And I was like, oh yeah, we all understand things that got to get cut out for reasons, and Kevin makes the right choices and decisions based on how he thinks it should go, and that's cool. But we get to see it live and got to see him work there, and it was good. And Mike Zapsik, same thing. He did a nice little thing, and we had a really great time in New Orleans. And we kept it low key. A lot of people didn't know we were there, even though we did get spotted on the street one day.
Oh, the fame man.
Well, no, because Kevin didn't want anybody to know that we were there. He was trying to keep the Clerks crew, like me, Marilyn, and Schiaffo, and Johnny, cousin Johnny, who's the finger cuffs guy, and most guys will, we were talking about that. Yeah, and who shot Dante at the original ending of Clerks. He was there with us. He wanted to kind of keep that under wraps, that we weren't there.
I didn't get to say it. but Rick Darris, he's my second favorite character in Clerks.
See? There we
I
go.
love Darris. Now, the only reason he's second is because I love Kowalski. So I used to work in a video store, and just fucking assholes like that. I really enjoyed his assholeness because it really captured fucking assholes who would just shit on people for a movie. Like, really?
Yeah.
Really, we don't have your copy of, like, Return of the Tomatoes,
Right.
the Killer Tomatoes, and you want to give me shit? Fuck you.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was, listen, I was happy to have the part, but I was also I was more happy that Kevin kept that Rick Darris thread throughout a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Even
Bus
though
Company.
the bus company and other aspects of the name and the references, which is
So
cool.
is that Jay's older brother?
Yeah.
We've seen that. We were looking at it. I was like, wait, that's his older brother?
Yeah, that's kind of a folklore kind of thing. It hasn't really, as far as I know, it's been talked about but never confirmed. I actually talked to
Where is
Kevin.
that even referenced?
Huh?
Yeah.
Where is it referenced that Rick Darris and you are brothers?
If you look at the fandom,
Right, the fandom
if
forum.
on there, it says that Jason Mewes said it, that the character is Jason, that he's the little brother of
Rick Darris, right?
Rick Darris. He's Jason Darris.
Yeah.
That's what.
Oh, so no wonder he got away with selling weed for so long.
Yeah. And I never got the confirmation from that. And based on that folklore, I actually talked to Kevin about bringing Darris back in Clerks 3 and tie that in somehow.
That'd be cool.
With Jay and Rick, but what he's going to do from what he told me, what he's going to do in Clerks 3 with our stuff is actually pretty cool. So
While you were gone, I was talking very nicely about you, but these two were talking shit the entire time.
That's all right. We're seeing video of you guys probably like 15 minutes ago. Yes, Ernie's voice was coming out of other people's mouths.
that could be taken really bad, brother.
Yeah.
Deep fake.
We need that
You
old
just
school.
said brother, and I'm not sure who said that.
We need the technical difficulties card, like from the old school 1950s.
With the Indian head on it.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with shared universe. They're on top of it. It's the streets of Asbury.
I gave Ming all the credit before while you guys were offline. Don't worry.
It's a big shout out to Ming, Chen, and
You know how hard it is to make it look like Scott Schiaffo is actually living in that cave?
I must say though, there was a moment that it's like, oh, he froze up because he was in the same position and there was no eye blinking going on. I'm like,
that was just him.
quite a while as well.
There you go. You gotta watch him. Occasionally he'll fix his hair.
Yeah, there you go. Give us.
There you go, buddy. Give us a little something ditty. Give us a little ditty. An Irish jig for Brian O'Halloran.
No, that's not until March.
Oh.
It's still Black History Month.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Yeah, we need some soul.
All right, so how we looking on time, Ming?
Yeah, take another 15 minutes if you need it.
We'll take 14.
Okay.
He's only good for 14 minutes.
It's like, I've only prepared for 14 more minutes.
Yeah.
What's your everyone? What's your favorite scene in Clerks for you personally? You can absolutely include your part in there. Like, I was the best. It's no problem at all. What's your favorite scene in the movie?
I actually already gave that scene, and that was when Silent Bob talks. It's like that's my favorite scene of the whole film.
Double answer.
Scott?
Wow, I guess I never thought of it. I like when Dante and Randall have their fight and then the subsequent discussions after that. I think there's a lot of interesting character stuff going on in that. That's probably one of my favorites. It's impossible to pick a favorite. It's that type of thing,
I always enjoyed when Dante returns from getting changed, and the whole exchange about how she had sex with a guy in the bathroom, and just the rapid fire, whole joke after joke after joke after joke in that whole exchange. I thought was always a very funny build-up.
Yeah. I would one of my favorites, because these guys know I have a connection to my boy Mike Bellicose, but the in a row, the in a row line about how many dicks she sucked in a row. Just, I don't know, for some reason gravitates towards me. You know, I can appreciate that. I was like, hey, want to go out on a date? I mean, and Belly has one line in the whole movie, and it's like one of the most well-known lines in the whole movie, you know.
And then Brian right after that with the sucking any dick on the way out in the parking lot. Hey, you get back here.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the great thing about working with Kevin is, you know, he's such a great writer to come up with these moniker kind of lines that live on 26 years later. But every movie that he's done, you can find at least 4 or 5 lines that you can throw out, and people know where you're going with it. And it's a really funny, hilarious, or poignant moment, like the Silent Bob soliloquy there. So it's that kind of moments that I think we really have been lucky to have Kevin with us to do all that.
A lot of people, you know, after making the show, they don't go back and revisit their films. It's just one of those things they kind of take acting and then kind of separate it. Do you kind of sit back and watch Clerks? When's the last time everyone watched it? Do you still enjoy sitting down and watching it if you do?
I actually they were running it on cable just recently. It was probably, I don't know, probably say 1 o'clock in the morning. I was just still up, and I was Cinemax, and I was flipping through and I saw it and I put it on, and I just, you know, I left it on, and not for the mere fact just to see myself, or I don't give a shit about that. It's just, it's like, holy shit. I mean, it's like 25, 26 years later. It's on a prime cable network, you know, on Cinemax, and we're watching it. You know, it's just, it's nostalgic to a degree. It's really cool, you know. But I don't.
Oh, it's like putting on a home movie of some sort.
Yeah. I mean, there's good memories, there's bad memories. You know, there's a lot of good, but it's a great film, and that actually still has life this long. It still baffles me. You know.
I haven't seen it in a long time, and the only time that I actually would watch it is when a friend wanted to watch it, and you know, they wanted like the behind scenes talk about it, or when we go to a convention and they have a screening. But that's about it.
Yeah, that's Central Park. That's about 4 or 5 years ago. I know, Brian, you were there as well. And what was great about Central Park was it was the uncut. It was the director's cut, which is a version I got really used to because that's all we had before it came out on the VHS, the one that Kevin sent to all of us. And I have I do a Plex server where I keep a bunch of movies, my personal movies. I have the Miramax cut, and I have the uncut one on there as well. But
illegal.
Both purchased.
Subscribe to Scott's Flex. It's $5 a month again.
I'll get contacted to host or to moderate a screening of it at like a restaurant or a bar or a theater, and do a Q&A afterwards. Some will ask for a live commentary. So as the movie's going on, I'm throwing out little tidbit information about that scene or whatever. The Comic-Cons will have a screening of it sometimes, and things like that. So, but the last time I actually watched and saw it was kind of like Ernie said. It was shown like last month or the month and a half ago on either Showtime or Cinemax, and it was like after 1:30 and stuff. And I'd gone done and watched what I usually watch on TV, and I was just going through the channels. I wasn't really tired yet, and I saw it on there, and I was just like, oh, let me just see what the quality looks like. And it was something that, you know, you just sit back and like, Jesus Christ, I remember that day we filmed and this was going on, or, oh my God, I had a head cold. You can hear it in my voice on this scene, and things like that. And the fact that, you know, the movie gets shown and people to this day, and there's new generations and generations of generations seeing it. It's kind of cool. It's that legacy that will follow us, that I'm proud of. I'm not ashamed of it at all, and I'm proud of all the work I do, actually. But it's that type of thing that I enjoy that conversation from time to time. Do I hear it again? Like we started this whole podcast about how it's Groundhog's Day sometimes when we talk about this film and what it's achieved and what it means to people. Yeah, but at the same time, I don't grow tired of it because it's not in my everyday. It's not in, it's every couple of weeks I talk about it like this, or a month and two later or something like that at a different con in a different city or whatever. But it's a beloved set of characters written from the heart, from a guy who lived it every day. And we were fortunate enough to be welcomed into that world and to portray his life and his friend's life of what really went down. And I'll do it every day and any day, anytime that
No!
Ming. We there? You hear it? You hear us? We hear you.
And we're back.
Oh,
I hear you guys. I don't see you guys.
Some of the video cut out.
I see Ming's face up there.
Yeah, me too.
You can hear Nick because he's been talking so fucking much.
I'm here for looks.
That's right.
There's two things shocking from that conversation. Number one, that Ernie and Brian are going to Cinemax at 1 o'clock in the morning looking for Clerks.
Skinemax.
And second, that you both have cable. Like,
it is kind of weird. I am finding more and more of my friends cutting that cord and just streaming stuff.
Oh, I cut the cord a long time ago.
Yeah, and I go like, well, what happens if the world is coming to an end? You're not going to know. And they're like, well, I got my phone. I'm like, all right, I get it.
Yeah, but you don't have Cinemax. So if you have, 1 o'clock in the morning movies like Boobs and Clerks, whatever happens to be on that Wednesday night.
Oh.
Clerk boobs.
Clerk boobs. Yeah, that's what was missing in Clerks.
The unnamed sequel.
Yes, the unnamed sequel.
I would like to thank everyone so much for taking part today. I would love if you have any plugs that you would like to give at this point, points to websites or projects to be able to tell people.
Are
they there?
Well, then let's start with...
They're frozen, so I will start.
Yeah, start.
Yeah. Well, right now I got a movie out on all streaming sites, so just check it out. And it's called 100 Acres of Hell, which I produced and co-star in. It's a horror movie with former WWE superstar Gene Snitsky and the great Samu. Ooh. So we got that out, and I'm also in another movie called Gone for the Weekend, which is on Amazon. And I know we have a couple other projects. I got a sitcom we're working on, a pilot, which hopefully will be out soon, and an animated series.
Oh, nice.
Holy shit.
Wow, you got a lot going on.
Yeah, well.
Gotta stay busy.
Yeah, we throw a lot of shit at the wall, brother.
Gotta see what sticks.
Yeah.
While they're not back yet, Nick had pulled up your IMDb.
Yes.
As we were driving, he's like, okay, let's see what he's in. I didn't know you were in so many Kevin's films. Like, your IMDb kind of reads like Jersey Girl was one of them, right? We were in Jersey Girl?
Yeah, Jersey Girl. Well, I mean, I wish I was in more of them. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I've been in quite a few, yeah. And
there we go.
I've also did Kilroy Was Here, which we shot in Florida, which is the horror anthology he's working with at the Ringling School. So he just told me a couple weeks ago that that's starting to finally wrap up and hopefully come up with a release date. So I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Kevin, hook a brother up. Seriously.
Do it.
Yeah, do it.
Do it. You can do it all night.
Great movie. That's a great movie.
Everyone else, plugs. What do you got? What's coming up? What do you want people to see? Where are you going to be at? Because you got a lot of conventions coming up as well, right?
Oh, I got New Jersey HorrorCon at the end of the month. My whole 100 Acres of Hell crew is coming down there.
All right, so the Ryan Weber over in Atlantic City.
Over in Atlantic
Yes.
City, yes.
Tony Goggles, is that?
I think he's going to be there too.
Yeah. I decided to go once he dropped the dead weight, and my boys will understand that.
It's not. Read between the lines.
Yeah, it's read between the lines. But we're going to be down there pimping our 100 Acres of Hell. So
We should go down there.
Oh, we're going.
Nice.
yeah,
We'll see you there.
thank you.
Yeah, I don't have much going on, actually. It's like I've got 3 conventions coming up. I don't think they've all been announced, but it will be with Brian and Scott at GalaxyCon.
Oh, it's the one in where? Virginia?
No, the Raleigh one.
It's Raleigh, and then there's Minneapolis, and then Kentucky sometime in the fall.
Now I got Is it Louisiana? It's Louisiana. Louisville, yeah.
Oh, right.
What are those L's?
I have a couple of appearances. I got GalaxyCon Richmond with Jason Mewes, Jeff Anderson's first time down in Richmond, plus Michael Rooker and Shannon Elizabeth. And then I have Horror Hound Cincinnati. That's in March, weekend of the 20th through the 22nd. That's with Jeff and myself. And then we also have Bangor, Maine Comic-Con, me, Jeff, and Jay. That's in April 24th through the 26th. Saratoga Comic-Con, me and Jeff, the weekend right after that. And then in May, we have nothing in May as of right now, so anybody looking to book us in May. We also have Monster Mania in Cherry Hill. Pardon me. Not Monster Mania, but it's called Pop Mania Con in Cherry Hill, June 5th, 6th, and 7th. Me, Jay Mewes, and Jeff. And then Raleigh GalaxyCon with Scott, Marilyn, myself, Jeff, Jay. I believe it's also the first time that Ethan Suplee will be there, Joey Lauren Adams, and quite a few others. The best way to do is to go to your galaxycon.com for more information. I'm doing all of their shows this year. Nerdin' Out in Rochester, Minnesota is in August. Colorado Springs Comic-Con, actually that has been announced, so that is not happening.
So you're saying.
Yeah. You're going to have to bleep that one out. And then a bunch of others after that. So best way to follow me, Brian C. O'Halloran on Twitter, Instagram, and the Brian C. O'Halloran on Facebook.
Scott?
He's warming up.
A film called Darkness Waits just was released. Pre-orders were released. It's a sequel to a movie called Dead Woman's Hollow. It's an indie horror film that got some nice action for the directors, a female director, which you don't see a lot of in the horror genre. And it's got a very interesting cast. That's going to be released soon. I'm working on a web series called The Deep State, which has been getting a little traction. And keeping busy as always in the studio, my dark lair of a studio. But
producing music, right?
Yeah, buddy.
Music,
and your website is?
Doing a lot of scores for indie films down here. Please, if you're going to come follow along, if you just Google my name, all of that crap will pop up because it's all pretty much the same .com.
All that crap is the same.com. Got it.
ScottSchiaffo.com, right?
What's that?
ScottSchiaffo.com.
Right. Well,
Scott Schiaffo on Twitter.
Right. All the same.
Scott Schiaffo on Instagram.
On all of it.
Yeah.
He's his manager.
And then Brian C. O'Halloran on Facebook, which is why you're the Brian C. O'Halloran?
Yeah, on Facebook, it's the Brian C. O'Halloran. On Instagram and Twitter, it's Brian C. O'Halloran.
All right.
For me, Instagram is Marilyn Ghigliotti, Marilyn Ghigliotti fan page on Facebook, and that Clerks girl on Twitter.
Ernie O'Donnell. Just look me up. That's all you need to do. I'm on Facebook and OD Blues. I'm on Twitter. But what I do need to end my little plug with is, just so everybody knows, in the next coming months, April 20th, the Smod Castle is coming, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Please. I was at the store 4 weeks ago with Malcolm, who's doing the documentary called The Clerk about Kevin. And we wanted to go in there to shoot some footage, and they were kind of bristly about it. But I said, oh, this is great that that Kevin's going to have it. And they looked at me like I was talking Japanese. Like they had no idea that Kevin was doing a Smod Castle there. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever.
Konnichiwa.
Yeah, we've been keeping a lot of things under wraps right now, but tentatively, if things go according to plan, the weekend of April 20th isn't it like National Weed Day?
Yeah, 420, man.
Right?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Kevin thought that would be.
Right, but I mean, they literally looked at me like, no, no one is renting that space. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. So I hope to have all these guys there at one point doing something.
Absolutely.
Yep.
We're going to do some live shows. How many seats, Ernie?
Right now we're looking at probably maxing out at 72. It's a small black box
72.
venue.
Tiny.
No.
Almost 37 times 2.
It's very intimate.
We should do a show there.
small.
Yes.
We get like 20, 25 people there.
We'll help you get more. Yeah, you should definitely do a show there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be sending everybody here over there.
We're going to be working
live
in
shows.
conjunction with the Shared Universe. So any of their people that want to do an actual live event, they can come, over there and do a live event.
Plug it. Plug it, Ming.
Well, if you want to have as much fun as we did today,
I'm going to be your regular customer.
Come to Shared Universe on all social media. Go to ashareduniverse.com or at ashareduniverse. Like Brian, Brian O'Halloran got to experience it a couple days ago, and you can have as much fun as we did today.
Ernie O'Donnell, Brian O'Halloran, Scott Schiaffo, Marilyn Ghigliotti, Nick, Ming, Chen, thank you all so much.
Always.
This is really a dream come true to have me sit down and talk with you all. So thank you so much for taking part in the podcast.
And remember, kids, if you pester people enough, they will say yes.
That's true.
Yeah, I was like, Brian, please do it. I'll tell you my brutal massacre story. And she's like, yeah, your friend's breasts were pretty nice. Thank you so much, everybody.
Brian, I got to give you a call.
You're welcome.
What's that?
I'll call you.
All right, I'll be looking for it.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
See you later.
Peace.
Ha ha ha!